Hi, my name is Tamara Luakatare. I am 17 years old. I am a senior at Newport High School.
Hi, I'm Nathan Dennis, and I'm a 16-year-old junior who goes to Hazen High School.
Hi, my name is Mickey Webeking. I am 15 years old and I am a sophomore at Kent Ridge High School.
I'd like to preface this video by saying that I'm not a Black youth, and therefore I cannot relate to many of the stories told by Black youth. I will try my best to report what I see in my generation, but it is unfair to say that I can accurately communicate experiences that I will fortunately never have to go through. One thing I can speak about is the Black Lives Matter movement, which is so important today as it's finally getting more attention.
The saying and movement Black Lives Matter talks about battling social injustice and discrimination towards African Americans, especially because it has been going on for centuries in America. And in no way is Black Lives Matter saying that they are better or are trying to compete with any other races, but they're just trying to be heard and understood, especially because Black voices have been suppressed for so long and have been underrated in this society, unfortunately.
Black Lives Matter is important to me because historically Black lives have been valued as less than white lives, and that's just not right. We are all created equally.
To me, Black Lives Matter means a fair and equal country where nobody has to worry that something negative could ever happen to them because of their ethnicity. It means all people coming together because they know they can make a change in the world. Names like George Floyd and Breonna Taylor inspire people to rise up and protest. But change sometimes happens and has to happen on a much smaller scale.
I cannot recall a time in which a student of color at my school was treated negatively because of the color of their skin by a teacher or a student. I have lots of students of color at my school. We are one of the most diverse schools in the country.
A situation where I have felt embarrassed or treated negatively because of my race was the sixth grade. I remember my parents gave me tickets to go to an Ariana Grande concert, and I was so pumped and excited, and especially because my parents gave me an extra one to bring a friend with me. So I was just literally to the moon. Like I was so happy. So then after winter break, we go back to school. I tell this one girl who's always made me feel welcomed at the school that, hey, my parents gave me tickets to go to an Ariana Grande concert. I don't know if you want to go with me. And then she was like, oh my gosh, for sure I would love to go. And then I'm like, awesome, cool. So then just give me your mom's phone number, and then I'll see if my mom can get a hold of your mom, or maybe I can get a hold of your mom, and then we'll find out how to get each other's contacts and just get that all situated. And then she was like, okay. So she gives me her mom's phone number. I a day passes, and then right after school, I'm with my mom in the car. I decide to call her mom, right? I call her mom, and I'm like, hi, my name is Tamara. I go to this school with your daughter, and I don't know if she told you about the Ariana Grande concert, but I would really love to go with her. You can talk to my mom if you want. It's around this time. And then her mom says, oh yeah, she told me about that. I don't think we can go. I'm so sorry. She has a play at that time, and when she said she had a play at that time, that sort of struck me, and sort of took me for a surprise, because I do not remember her telling me about a play at that moment. So then I'm like, oh, okay, it's fine. And so then I hang up, and then the next day I go up to the girl, and I'm like, hey, it really sucks that you couldn't go. And she's like, oh yeah. And then I'm like, and then I'm like, why couldn't you? Because I was a bit because I was a bit suspicious. And then she was like, well, Tamara, to be honest, my mom was a bit like scared that like you were gonna like steal things at her house if you ever like came over. So we just had to say no. And the way she said it wasn't like she tried to say it like discreetly, but was in front of our whole entire lunch table, our whole entire lunch group. And I was just in shock. And I was like, I was just so upset.
I personally have never seen larger actions of racism at school, such as someone yelling slurs or trying to physically harm someone. Racism at school is usually more implicit, appearing through stereotypes, exclusions, and microaggressions. Hazen learned about microaggressions at our MLK Day assembly last February, which our Black Student Union had a large role in. Microaggressions are subtle, indirect acts of discrimination. They can be comments like, "You look pretty for a black girl," or just things like staring at someone because they are different from you. These can be harder to catch, which is why an outsider might not see them, but they are there and we have to work on fixing small acts as well.
A moment where a teacher has ever treated me negatively or has made me feel out of place in a class setting because of my race was last year, not that long ago. But I remember I was new to this one class. So everybody was already accommodated to the class schedule, to how things run in that class. I was still getting used to it. And and so then I was just trying to just live my day-to-day normally in that class. I would talk to people when appropriate. I would ask questions, but I've always felt like she would answer them as if I was a bit dumb for asking them in the first place. She would sort of have like the tone in her voice which seemed a bit annoyed. And at the same time, whenever my other friends, because I was the only black person in that class, everybody else was either white or Asian. So then whenever anybody else asked a question, it was honestly like as if she was eager to get on that question and to answer that question. And also like as that was happening, I felt more and more like scared to go into that classroom, and I felt more nervous to even ask questions, and I felt intimidated by the teacher, which is strange because you're not supposed to feel intimidated to ask questions if you're truly just trying to understand a lesson. And so then one morning, I don't remember when, but one morning I was walking in with my friends that are white, and they greeted our teacher with a good morning, hello, right? And my teacher responded to them with the good morning and hello, and not shortly after, I I walked in too, right? And then I greeted my teacher with a hello or good morning, but it's like she saw me walk in, and I'm pretty sure she heard me say that, but she did not say anything back. So that's when I sort of felt like my teacher never really liked me. And then I remember feeling scared to ever ask my teacher about anything. I remember the only way I'd get anything like done or answered in class was if I went to my other friends that were in that class with me, or if I went to my counselor so that they could talk to that teacher directly. And I personally tried to, but it felt like a lost cause because I didn't feel really heard or even given a shot to get better or understand anything. So I had to drop out of that class, unfortunately.
In my friend group, it's pretty diverse. Out of my four best friends, I have a Hawaiian, a Korean, a Southeast Asian, and a white person.
My school does not have many people of color, unless you are a person with white or Asian heritage. So it was always hard for me to fit in when I first got to the school, and especially because it was hard to get people of color, such as black people or Hispanic or anybody else who wasn't white or Asian because of the reputation my school sort of holds when it comes to diversity, and how our school is sort of exclusive when it does come to diversity. So yeah, I felt like my throughout most of my high school career, I've always felt like I had to change my personality, the way I talk, the way I look, just so that I could fit in with everybody else and be noticed. And it was weird because uh, being black or having black tendencies um, sort of became a trend, and black culture just became a trend for some reason. And so then it's like my peers who were white and Asian would then change their mannerisms towards me, and by trying to make me feel like, or trying to make them feel, or trying to make themselves feel a part of my world, when really we all live in the same world. So it's been really hard to really find that balance, but luckily I had my best friend who is black. So honestly, she was the only person that I was able to feel like myself and talk about things and that I truly like, not stuff that I have to fake like. So that was really cool.
I am very optimistic that my generation will be able to make a difference. If you were to look at my Instagram feed, you'd see a lot of posts about Breonna Taylor. My generation is fired up. We're tired and we're ready for change.
What was really inspirational was seeing Hazen's Black Student Union basically run the MLK Day Assembly. By letting the youth take charge and bring light to a topic that is so prevalent today, we give the next generation the opportunity to protest against racism.
My one last message is that my generation holds so much power for change. Honestly, time is constantly moving, and we are growing up. And we are growing up along with our beliefs and our values that will then be passed along to our children, just like how the generation before us is beliefs have been passed along to us. And we have that responsibility to hold that reputation of unity and acceptance, because if we're not in that mindset of progression, then we need to ask ourselves, how will America ever truly evolve to be great?